as we take consideration toward the super welterweight division. The young fighters are coming on strong. And this past Saturday, August 23rd, we saw more of the same as Yoenis Tellez took on Abass Baraou. And Tellez going into the fight was the one to watch. But after the outcome, we saw that there's a new man to take consideration of. And though he's young and fights, he's 30 years of age, and that's Abass Baraou from Germany. Let's talk about this fighter, the fight that he had with Tellez. And Tellez really performed well, but he was just in against a better man on the night. Man, boxing can be so good when you just open yourself up to the possibilities. Boxing in the super welterweight division is heating up, people. And I have to tell you, the title fight between Yoenis Tellez and Abass Baraou turned out to be something that everybody should have had a chance to see. These two men battled just like you like to see fighters battle. They came out and they performed to the best of their abilities. Now, when they were matched up, it was Tellez who was being given the consideration, being a young fighter at the age of 25 out of Cuba, and with only 9 bouts going in under his belt, he was thought to be the man to watch. And there's nothing wrong with that, as MVP Promotions put this fight together. He's 5'10" with a 73-inch reach. And as they stated going into this fight, his opponents have averaged a record of 30+ fights. And so when he took on Baraou, bringing his record, which has now, after the decision of this fight, has come to 10-1 with 7 KOs. Baraou brought the type of fight that a young fighter like this is supposed to meet. His record with the victory, the decision in this fight, is now 17-1 with 9 KOs. However, Baraou out of Germany is 30 years of age. He's 5'9.5" and an aggressive fighter whose one loss came to Jack Culcay a few years ago, but it was a split decision loss. And you have to consider, because Culcay at that time was more of a name. There's a probability, I haven't seen that fight, but after watching him against Tellez, it's a good chance that he may have been robbed in that fight. Abass is a good fighter, people. He keeps his hands up high. He's an orthodox fighter, and he looks to really come in behind a high guard, but it's not the kind of guard that he's keeping the blinders. He comes in and he barrels in with powerful hooks to the body, uppercuts, a stiff jab, which is kind of pulverizing, and he's got a good right hand. He loops it a little bit, but he doesn't throw it unless he's in range. And as he began to put the pressure on Tellez in this fight, what we were able to see is that Tellez was being challenged in a way that he wasn't accustomed, and it made for more excitement. Now he countered well, but the thing about Tellez in this fight was he was not allowing, well, he did allow a Baraou to come into range without pumping that jab, putting meat on it to keep him at the distance. As you watch this fight, you could see Baraou was fighting from mid-range to close, and Tellez, who does have a decent jab, he was throwing his shots in singularities, and you couldn't do that against this particular fight. And I'm surprised that his cornermen missed that, because as the battle went on, you could see Baraou's pressure being applied more and more, and the shots that he was getting off were beginning to become telling on Tellez. This was a good fight, combative all the way through, and you could see that the two men their styles were complementary of one another. The one thing that I also noticed too was that Tellez was stepping back a lot instead of stepping around. You see, with a fighter like Baraou, you have to give him angles. You have to turn him because he needs those feet to be planted. Now, his footwork is not bad. It's just that he punches with power and leverage. So you have to make him step. And if you could get him to pick those feet up, then the counters will be more effective. And that's where he was starting to nail Tellez as well with his counter shots. When he picked up the fact that Tellez was only going to throw those jabs in singularity, he was waiting for them behind that high guard to shoot his shots. And when he would shoot his shots, they would come in succession. Numbers 2, 3, 4, punch combinations. Very telling in the fight. And it made for great drama. This was a good fight. I cannot stress that enough. And these two men who have under 30 fights are in a division where the talent is ripe. I mean, from top to bottom. And for their names to be included in this, remember, Tellez had an opportunity in where he had taken on in his last bout in March of this year against Julian J. Rock Williams. He won a unanimous decision against Williams and had Williams kind of rocked in that fight and hurt, where some of the people were wondering if Williams was going to be able to finish the fight. But Baraou turned this fight on in the later rounds, and he was able to get through that defense of Tellez, even dropping him in the 12th and final round. This was so exciting, and it was so much of a surprise to see the upset that it's like, man, I can't wait to see Baraou again. You see, this is what I'm talking about when I talk about fighters that you haven't seen before and that they don't talk enough about, so you just don't know. But the so-called eye test is when you recognize talent, you have to give credit to it. And that Abass Baraou has. He has talent. He has ability. And he's 30 years old. And so he's looking for that opportunity at a world title shot within the next year. And if he continues to battle like he's doing now, not only does he deserve that opportunity, but it will be a chance for him to showcase against one of these elite fighters in the division. Like I said, the division is wrought with talent, but I don't believe everyone is as talented as he is. He's bringing a lot to the table, and I want to see this young man again. But what do you think? This is Stormy B Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know your thoughts about Abass Baraou and what would you like to see from him next against the talent of the super welterweight division. Leave comments and let's discuss further. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.